These diapers use a completely new technology. Hardly anyone talks about this development. Yet it is probably one of the biggest milestones for ABDL diapers in recent decades. It is just beginning to change the first diapers significantly. Everyone has probably already noticed other significant improvements such as stronger adhesives, thicker material or greater absorbency. However, the technology used to print the colorful diapers has changed radically, largely in silence. To understand this, we first need to take a very basic look at how a diaper used to be colored. The outer film is wound onto a long roll for production, similar to continuous paper in newspaper printing or dot matrix printers. For diapers without a print, the machine cuts off pieces corresponding to their length. With ABDL diapers, the roll is printed with the outer film. Previously, this was done with repeating patterns. To put it simply, you can imagine it like this. The print corresponds to a stamp that is repeatedly printed on the entire roll in an endless loop one below the other. Even with colorful prints, you cut strips from this printed roll. If you compare several classic diapers at the beginning or end, you will quickly see they have been cut off at different points in the middle of the print. Without paying attention, many people probably won't even notice. This is intentional, because smaller patterns with repetitions were deliberately chosen. There it does not disturb the motif so much. Sometimes not at all, because with luck the cut is made in a suitable place so that you can at least see the head of an animal, for example. It would look different if only a few or one large motif were printed. If this is cut off in the middle, the diaper looks like a faulty production. With the previous type of production, however, this would inevitably have happened with many diapers if more elaborate motifs were used without mandatory repetitions. With a large print, it's a matter of luck whether it happens to be cut off in a favorable position and looks good, or totally unfavorable. This limited the designers of diapers. They could not give free rein to their creativity, but had to develop repetitive patterns that could be cut off at any point. At the same time, they had to look as good as possible. Deliberately placed animals or other elements were impossible. Over the years and decades, the demands on ABDL diapers have continued to increase. For example, they became thicker and could withstand more. It was time to further develop the technology for printing. In the meantime, many diapers with the classic pattern print came onto the market. Here you can see a selection from my archive. There are more. But now there is a solution to the problem: position printing. The machine uses markings to recognize where the motif begins and where it ends. This allows it to cut it off at the desired end so that the motif can be seen completely in the intended position, without displacement or even cuts in the middle of the motif, which would make it look broken. It may sound too simple for one of the biggest revolutions, but until now, colorful printed diapers were limited to repeating patterns. You can see this very clearly in Little Paws, where this is the case with the paws. The new technology offers many completely new possibilities for ABDL diapers. It allows large motifs to be printed on specific areas of the outer film as part of a complex design. Many manufacturers use positional printing for a large motif at the front and another at the back. A current example is my latest practical test of the LNGU Little Melody. It has a large animal on the front of the adhesive surface, which even changes depending on the size. At the back, all three animals can be seen as a common motif. Several brands have recently tried to use this concept to make their diapers stand out. Critter Caboose has done something similar. They use a different design, but the principle is the same: a more elaborate image on the adhesive surface at the front. The bottom shows a different sized animal depending on the size. This is just one of the many possibilities offered by the new position printing. Another example is the Tykables Waddler, shown here in the bottom row. I have already tested it in practice and it achieved a good result. The manufacturer has done a few things differently with the design of the diaper. The back is printed in the same way on all diapers. The front has a total of 4 different motifs, one of each of the 3 animals and one on which all 3 are depicted at the same time. Instead of assigning the motifs according to size, each pack is mixed with these 4 variants. If several waddlers are placed next to each other, the diapers are completely identical. The motifs are in the same place, nothing is shifted or cut off. In the classic ones with patterns at the top, however, the prints are in a different position for each diaper due to the cut. Some have been cut in the middle at the beginning or end. Abu has kept it simpler with the tiny tails, shown on the far right, which has a uniform, elaborately designed motif. This is very colorful and bold. If you compare these three examples alone with older diapers that were still designed with classic patterns, it becomes obvious. It's no longer just about enhancing the color of the diaper with a few colorful things. The new prints are much more elaborate and sometimes tell their own story. So far, there are still relatively few diapers with positional printing. But new ones are increasingly relying on the technology, so we will see more of them in the future. Is that why the classic patterns are dying out? I think that's an unfounded concern. Position printing is more complex and therefore more expensive. Some diapers like crinkles are deliberately aimed at people who have little money to spend. Also, tastes vary. Some people like the patterns of crinkles, little paws and other older diapers. Just as there is still a demand for plain diapers in white or other single-color designs. ABDL diapers have not caused these diapers to disappear from the market. Instead, they have expanded the range. And it's bigger than ever. I'm only showing you some of the diapers with classic pattern prints from my archive here. ABDL is growing, so there is plenty of room for a large range of different diapers that cover all needs. I find it exciting how much progress ABDL diapers have made in many aspects, from thickness and absorbency to design. What do you think? Do you like the more elaborate design with positional printing? Or do you prefer the classic repeating patterns? Feel free to leave a comment here on YouTube. Stay dry until the next diaper video.